Okay, hi guys, welcome to this video, a build log type of thing. I'm the PC Grim Reaper, as you know. Welcome to the channel, and if you're not subscribed already, subscribe. I do builds like this every now and again. So today I'm going to be building a gaming rig, sort of slash productivity rig, just so that sorry, I was trying to thought there, but yeah. So these are the components. I have, for graphics card, I have an R92828X, which is a AMD graphics card, 3 gigs of DDR5, so that'll be more than enough to power through games and other stuff. For RAM, I've got a 8 gig stick of Corsair Value Select RAM, just you know. CPU wise, I've got a FX6100, which is a 6-core CPU. I don't know what the gigahertz is, but I will link that information in the sort of bottom screen in the video at some point. So anyway, let's get on. Hard drive, I've got a Seagate Barracuda 1TB drive, so that'll be good enough for that. If you want to go with an SSD, you can. Just it's just that they're expensive now, so standard mechanical hard drive is enough. CPU cooler, I'm going with a Hyper T2 from Cooler Master, which is this bad boy over here. Nice big tower style heatsink, so that'll be more than enough to cool an FX6100. FX processors are renowned for heat, so if we can cool that bastard down, it'll be fine. Motherboard I'm going with is an ASUS board. It's an M5A78LM LX3, so that should be powerful enough to do that. So alright, let's get straight into the build, shall we? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to install the CPU in the CPU socket, and then we're going to install the heatsink, and then we're going to mock everything up in the case to see what it is. Oh, and by the way, it's a very special case to me. It means a lot to me. It is a Packard Bell case this is basically the first case I found for free, and it was modified to work perfectly. So yeah, this was the original base for one of my first builds, so has lots of sentimental value to me. So let's get started. First I'm going to unbox the motherboard. See this sexy ass shit right here. Just give you a little viewing angle there. I might try and reset the camera a little bit, give you a bit of a better viewing angle, because I need to get all this stuff out of the way. Let me just move that over there. That over there. Watch out for the CPU. Okay, I think you're right. That's it. We just move over here a little bit because it's going to be a bit weird, but okay, that should be fine. Okay, motherboard, we're just going to unbox. Usual shit manuals. Just get them out of the way. Okay, I've got to put them over there. Okay, SATA cables. Got SATA cables, so we're going to use them for the hard drive. We're going to install it. IO shield. We're going to install that first because that's the most annoying thing in a computer build ever. So if you don't do that first, you're gonna forget, and then you're gonna wonder why your motherboard looks weird inside the case. So we're gonna get that installed first. So IO shield, simple install. Just get it out of its plastic wrapping. Don't try and bend anything. So IO shield is this little thing here. So this goes in the inside of the case. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try and give you a better viewing angle. I might try and put this on the floor actually. I might just bend it over this way, so I can give you a better viewing angle. So right now you're at the back of the case looking in through the back. So the IO shield goes in this sort of ridge line. You see my finger is this little ridge line in first. So we're going to put that in first, and make sure we don't put it in upside down, because I don't want to see anything upside down. So that is like that. Don't put it in upside down. So I'm just going to go in here like this. If you can see that properly, you can, I think. So we go in properly like this. Just snap it in. It should just click in, but if it doesn't, just give it a little bit of force. Not much to hurt this thing. So just gonna snap that in like that. Oh bastard! See, that's why we do this first, because it's the most annoying thing. If you do this at the end of the build, you're gonna be wondering why your motherboard isn't in properly, and you can't put it in without the motherboard first. So just gonna snap this in. There we go. Come on, you bastard. Come on, get in there. Just gonna snap it in like that. That's in. That's in. Couple of corners in. Alright, it's pretty much in, I think. Is that in? The bottom in. Yeah, that's pretty much in. So first part build done. So right, I'm gonna flip this back over, and then we're gonna get the motherboard out and do the CPU and the Jesus, okay. Right, piece of cardboard over there. Right, so go to the motherboard and just get that prepped and ready to go to the case. So motherboard, take it outside, get one static bag. You guys are enjoying this. Okay, then out of static bag. Now, this is a tip from Linus Tech Tips. So he says this a lot, so I believe him, and he's a very good PC builder. So I'm going to put this on the bed. I'm going to close the PC box, and we're going to put this on top. You can use this as an anti-static workstation. That's basically what he says. So yeah. So that's basically what we've got there. I'm going to move the camera over here, just so unless people are probably getting sick in the comments. So yeah. All right. So CPU. You need to. This is the CPU here. This is an AMD CPU, as I said. It's an AMD CPU, and it's a very sort of. Intel CPUs have a thing called layered grid design, LGA, which is basically the pins are in the socket, not on the chip. As you can see from here, the pins are actually on the chip, which is this is called PGA, which is pin grid array, if I believe correctly. So don't quote me on that. Look it up if you want, but that's basically what it means. And give you a little bit of zoom in here so you can get a better look at the motherboard. So to get this in properly, you need to basically. There's a gold triangle on the edge of the CPU at the bottom left hand corner. So there, see the little gold triangle. Once you've got that, there's another triangle on the actual socket of the motherboard. So I'll give you a quick zoom in for that. So let me just move closer. Okay. Okay. There you go. You see the little white triangle in the corner of the socket down there? So we do that by simply lifting the retention arm, lifting that up. That goes up like that. Then we just simply drop it in with zero force, just sort of like wiggle it in. Go in, come on. That's in, I think. Yep, just give it a little touch. See if it's actually seated properly. So that's in now. You just drop it in and let it sort of fall in. With Intel CPUs, there's another sort of step to go about it. There's like a retention sort of like plate. You lift up and then you have to drop the CPU in, and that's basically what you have to do for Intel. This is AMD, so it's a lot easier. So we're going to close down the retention arm. Now we've got it in properly, so that's rock solid and in. So next we're going to install the CPU heatsink, which is not the hardest part, but it's one of the most annoying ones because you have to sort of like well, sometimes it can be annoying if you have a very sort of I don't know what the word is, sort of like in-depth sort of CPU cooler, like one that has a back plate and you have to go to the back of the back plate and do all that. But usually it's a cinch, so it should be easy. This is Hyper T2, as I said. It's a very good heat pipe tower style cooler, so it should keep the efficacy 100 quite cool, and shouldn't really. So we've got the installation instructions there. Oh sorry, I'll just zoom you out because it's a little weird. So we've got the installation instructions. We've got some thermal grease. Okay, let's get this blasted out. Come on, you cunt. Let's go. Okay. I'm just going to move the motherboard out of the way so we can just focus on the CPU cooler right now. So we'll put that over there. I'm going to do this. There we go. Lovely. The installation box as well, just got some garbage over here. Okay, put that over there. So read the instructions properly and figure out how it goes on. AMD is very simple to attach a heatsink, so it should be very easy. It's just a retention bracket. It has it's a bit different than Intel, but this is a very easy CPU cooler to install. So we're just going to get it out of this little package. Oh, isn't that sexy right there? Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is sexy, isn't it? Cute little heatsink. Let's just remove the silica gel. Alright, we're going to get that over to the other side. Put that over there. Alright, so we got the CPU cooler, and we need the appropriate retention bracket for our AMD. I might as well read the instructions while I'm at it so I don't get anything wrong. So just bear with me for a second as I read this, because AMD is easier, it's a lot easier. It's not as annoying as Intel, but Intel is just as easy. You just have to usually Intel's push pins, so it's not very annoying. It's just a little bit. So down towards the PCI bracket. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, open little adapter packet. So there should be some adapters in here to make it go to AMD. So this should pop right. So private bracket we need the thermal compound as well. Come on, you bastard. There's our little tube of thermal compound and our screws, which we do not need because this is not Intel, AMD, sorry. Get a little bit flustered when I'm doing these builds, so bear with me. Okay, thermal compound, we'll switch that about a bit just to make it more malleable, and then we'll do that to the CPU. Okay, so this should go over what side? What side? Does it not matter? Weird. Okay. It doesn't matter which side it goes on. So I'm going to go sort of this down towards the PCI slot so it looks better. I might go this way actually. I don't know what would look better. Oh, things to do. Maybe this going up would look better. So okay. I'll get rid of these adapters here because these are for Intel. We don't need them. Just going to put them over there by the box. So chuck that away. Okay. So what we need to do with this now is we need to get the motherboard back in, and it's just let me grab the motherboard box right here. So we've got the thermal compound, we've got the bracket, we've got the other thing. Okay, so here we are here with the motherboard, the bracket and other stuff. So we're just gonna sort of work it about a little bit just to make it more malleable, so it sort of slides on better onto the die of the CPU. So the way you install thermal compound is you only lose about a pea-sized dot of it, so it doesn't so it makes good contact with the heatsink. What thermal compound actually does is it's like a heat transfer. Because the CPU creates a lot of heat, it basically just transfers the heat from the top of the IHS, which is the integrated heat spreader, which is this metal thing here. It takes the heat from the IHS and transfers it to the heatsink. It has a lot of good thermal conductivity, which is kind of essential really to kind of making a better contact on what you got there. So I'm going to undo this cable fan. So we've got a fan here which is needs to go into a certain header in the motherboard. I'll show you what that is in a second, but let me just undo this and we should be fine. If you're doing this on carpet, ground yourself to the power supply. Oh, I didn't say what power supply I had. I have a VS650 from Corsair, which is a very good power supply, very powerful, 650 watts, so it should be enough. I've used it before to cool the to run the R92AX. So just do a little test fit here real quick just to see if it actually does fit. Make sure you peel that that sort of weird plastic thing there, so you don't you have to put it off because it was protecting the thing. So I'm just going to maze up a bit more, and I'm going to spread a center this as good as you can, because this is going to be a bit of a bastard. It's a bit strange, but it should be weird enough. Okay, so where is the CPU fan header? So it's there, so I'll do better to have it there. So I'm just gonna line this up a little bit. Now you can't see this, but it'll be okay. It's getting weird. So just gonna. So try your best to sort of like hook this other side on first. Get my head in the way first. So. Okay, that's it. That's on. So just it's a bit weird, but just what you got to do is there's a little like handle thing there. So you just sort of flip that over, and then it should tension it up quite good for the CPU. Just let me check if that's lined up properly, and it looks like it is. So I think we done well there. A little bit of thermal paste seeping out over the sides, but I think it should be fine. Just be wary if it's a bit tensioned up, so that should be enough. The IHS is fully covered, so yeah, I think that's fine. So I'm probably going there later with some cotton swabs and sort of like do that up, so it should be fine. Okay, now installing the actual CPU fan header. So it's just a header here, just sort of, there's a spot on the board I'll show you. If I zoom in down here, there's a spot down there that says CPU fan. So I'm just going to plug that in, it should be fine. So RAM installation is as simple as it goes. Just get your stick of 8GB. So we're going to get this out of the packet. So if you can't see this, bit of a weird camera angle, but if I get this out of the packet, open that up. So RAM only goes in one way. Usually these this notch lines up with a corresponding notch on the RAM sockets, which I will show you now. I'm just going to spin this around here. Then I'm just going to zoom in real quick, just so you can get a look at it. So those two sockets are the RAM sockets. It only goes in one way, so you can't really screw it up. So yes, so corresponding notch. Open the sockets up. So it's going to go on the farmost socket, because this is going to just be the one stick inside here, so this should be fine, really. So just give it a firm press, and you should hear two little clicks. That means it's fully seated inside the RAM socket. So that's that done, and that's most of the motherboard already done. So it's easy as fuck. So just think of it that way. So now what we've got to do is we have got to install the computer, the motherboard assembly inside the actual case. So that just requires lining up to the actual actually should I install the power supply first? I think I'm going to install the power supply first. So power supply is mostly easy. You just need to let me just get this out of the way here. Power supply is easy. All you need to do is 4 screws at the back of the case, and it should be mainly fine. Never buy a power supply from a sort of cheap Chinese manufacturer. This is a well-known brand of power supplies, Corsair. They make a lot of things, cases as well. It's a very well-known brand, so it shouldn't really screw you up on its efficiency. So don't buy a cheap Chinese power supply, because those will blow up. It does happen. There are multiple reported cases of it happening on the internet, so just look them up if you don't believe me. I'll probably show some pictures, but basically just don't buy a cheap power supply. And the power supply that comes with the case, and this is a reputable manufacturer, like I'll give you a little list of a few now: Antec, Corsair, Cooler Master, Seasonic, and EVGA. Those all make very good power supplies, and you should be fine with that. Just be very careful on what you're buying from what brand. So just keep that in mind. So here's our power supply. Just unbox it real quick. So grab our cables, lift it out, and this is pretty much it. So we'll pull the bubble wrap off, and there we go. Let me just get this box out of the way. so you don't have to look at that anymore. The box over there. Alright, so this is the VS650. It's a very good power supply, 650 watts, so it should be enough to drive the i928EX, so it shouldn't really be a problem. So now we're just going to line it up in the back of the case. I'm going to give you a better view of it into the back of the computer, like so. Move that. Okay, I'm showing like a bitch. Okay, so we're just going to insert that in like so, and it should line up to the hole. Sorry, just banged it there. Okay, so we should just be able to line this up. So as you can see, I'm trying to line up the holes in the back, so it should be easy enough as it is, but you can't tell. Also, sounds really rude, but putting the case at different angles actually does make this easier. As funny as that sounds, it does make it easier. So I might have to go upside down for this. This might look really fucking weird, but it does work, trust me. So it shouldn't be a problem. How's keeping it stuck? Something's like sticking to it. What's keeping it back? Oh, it's the bottom of the case actually. Okay, so it should be in like that, and we're in. So just going to deal with the screws now, and it should be sturdy enough inside there. That looks a bit strange, but it always does the first time. So reverse my screwdriver. So that's going in like that. It's perfect. So yep, one screw in. Once you've done one, it's pretty much easy for the rest of it. I might jump cut this bit out because it's so easy. So yeah, I'll slide it in. Right, now this is a bit unconventional, but I have to do this because my graphics card is so huge. That's not a dirty statement; it's just a fact. The i928 is quite a big graphics card, and it doesn't really fit in most cases very well. If you're buying a gaming case, it'll be fine. If you're buying a gaming case, it will mostly be fine. It will have support for most full-size graphics card, but because this is a sort of like this is a Packard Bell case. It was originally just a stock computer from a manufacturer, so it was never meant to house an i928EX. So we're going to do get a bit sneaky with how we install this, really. So just bear with me, and so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the motherboard. I'm going to install the USB headers and the front panel headers and the SATA cables, because the SATA connectors at the bottom is a bit weird for me to get together. So we're going to do that first now, just so it's not as strange trying to get it together. So just to make more room in the case, sort of like throw the power other power connectors out of the way, so we can just sort of like get them out of the way and make it easier. I'm going to be cable managing this case just a bit later, so yeah, okay, we're going to plug the front panel USB in. So front panel connectors are simple. On other cases they're individual, so you have to go with a guide on the motherboard, but it's usually quite easy. So because it's an old case, it's very simple, and it's a very simple pin out. So just corresponding how to tell is front panel is usually the button and the LEDs that control the basically tell you what the hard drive's doing and other stuff. That little board down there, where my finger is, but just point down there, that's the USB controller. So that's the USB headers. So just do the front panel first, so it should be easy. And it's as simple as just getting the connector and plugging it in. So just sort of like, if I give you a bit of a zoom in, it should be a bit better for you. So it might look a bit weird. So you see that header there? Just gonna get the corresponding thing. There's a pin knocked out of these, so it's easy to key. So just plug it in, a little bit of force, it's in, done, simple. If you didn't see that, so that's in. Front panel USB is just as easy. Going to quickly screw the motherboard in, and it should be fine. Screwing a motherboard in is as simple as it is. Just find the holes and screw it in. Okay, so welcome back to the build, guys. After that short break, we're back to building this computer. So things that we've got left to do are just a few minor things. Plug in SATA cables, get the hard drive routed, get it mounted and all that, and then run the power to the motherboard, install the graphics card, and then get it fired up. So that'll probably be a later video. I want to sort of tease you a bit. So undo the SATA cables, which are these bad boys here, black ones to go with the stealth. Don't know what I'm talking about with stealth, but anyway. So SATA cables usually have an angle connector. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to give you a little zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. I did screw the motherboard in, so it should be fine. So I'm going to angle this way. The SATA slots are usually on the bottom. SATA cable headers, socket things are on the bottom of the motherboard. So we're just going to go like this. I think it should be fine. Okay, so we're nearly done. What I did in the last, I got cut out because the camera died. But what I did in the last video was basically showed you how to plug in a SATA connector, which is one of these bad boys right here. It's one of these cables with has a semi weird connector on it with like a little L shape. So all we do with that is simple thing to do is I'll give you a close up of the actual computer now, which is nearly done. We're nearly there. Just to get a couple more videos of it. You see that socket that's literally just there, well, my finger's pointing. Where that socket is, you literally just correspond the L shape on the connector to the cable, and then it's all good. Right, now the last part of this build is basically two things. We need to do the power management for the actual computer itself, which is just the 24-pin ATX connector, which is that thing there, the big bastard there. The 4-pin connector, which is, oh, I don't know where it is. Where are you, bastard? Come on, there we are. Now, don't get confused. It is very easy to confuse these with the actual PCI power connectors. Do not confuse these. A simple way to tell is these have two 4 pins. Let me just zoom out for you because it looks a bit weird. Okay, a simple way to tell is these have two 4-pin connectors on the side, which are meant to be joined together if you have a more higher power, a motherboard that requires more power. So you double them up to 8 pins. The PCIe ones have a little split off connector like that. You join them together. If it does, basically just don't confuse them. Otherwise you probably will blow up your motherboard. Just a little tip there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to install the graphics card. Get that out of the way. So this is the graphics card we're going to be using. I'm going to unbox it for you right now. Better angle. There we go. Okay. Now, graphics cards. Some of them you don't need supplemental power for. Some of them are. It's getting to the point now where in the gaming community there are graphics cards that are nearly power efficient enough. Well, there are some. I know for a fact that the 750 Ti you don't need supplemental power to do it. It'll run just off the PCIe 16 bus power. So I'll just get this undone. There we go. So there's our card. Get out of the box nicely. Come on. Time big camera debut. Okay. So graphics card, just the PCI sockets. If I can get this properly. Sorry for a second there. So you see 3 sockets here, yeah. These 3 sockets are PCI lanes or PCIe sockets. That top one is an X1 slot, which is usually used for stuff like just off the top of my head, capture cards, modems, and basically just interface cards. That's your standard stuff for that. The one in the centre is the X16 slot, which is actually meant for graphics cards. So, and we're just going to plug it in. That last one at the bottom is a legacy connector, which is just normal PCI. Now all you've got to do is plug graphics card in, is plug it into the second slot there, which has the little retention thing to release the card. So what we'll do that now. So just do it simple. See, there's a connector on the bottom of the card. All you've got to do is line this up with the corresponding notch inside the computer and the right way. So it should be easy. So just going to line this up, and there we go, lined up perfectly. So as you can see there, the card's pretty much solid in there. It's not going to move about. There are some screws you have to do up in the front. I'm going to do them in a second, but that's basically just for purposes. That's what it looks like. It looks perfect. You can wave it about a little bit. It doesn't really move much, but you're meant to put screws in there. I will do them in a second, but I'm not going to do them now, just for continuity's sake. So that's basically it. Now, one more thing you have to do with a graphics card is you have to plug in the supplemental power for it. So the supplemental power connectors look like this. They say PCI on them. PCI stands for PCI Express, by the way, just to tell you about that. So it needs it needs one 6-pin and one 8-pin. So we're just going to join these together here. How you do this is if you can see that, I don't know if you can because my camera's a bit shit, but you see that, you see the little pigtail here. It has 2 prongs on it, and you can join it together on this side. So they're joined together now. See, they're joined together, and we just plug that in. The plug-in is the actual ATX connector. Now the ATX connector is a big bastard. It's back there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Give you a little zoom in. You can see it. Move a couple of cables out of the way. So I might have to go freehand for this. Okay. So the ATX connector is that big bastard there. What you do here is, so what we do is we just literally just plug on the pigtail to the end, push it back down. So I have my arms in the way, but I can't really do this very well. So plug it in, you'll push it all the way in, and you'll hear like a little click. It's very faint, but you will hear it. Once it's plugged in, that's fine. It's absolutely brilliant. And the last 2 connectors to plug in are the actual 4-pin connector for the actual case, or the actual CPU power. The CPU power is this little thing here. It just goes into the corresponding socket. I'll go through hand again real quick. It goes through here. It goes into that little 4-pin socket down there. So that's just the power for the CPU. That big connector, the ATX connector, is the power for the entire motherboard. So it actually powers the actual bus and stuff. So just going to go in like this, if I remember correctly. So, and one of the problems I'm going to have with this case, I've had it before, I need to invest in some cooling fans to keep it cool, because just having the graphics card and the CPU fan just doing all the work isn't really conducive to a working computer. So I do have another fan on the outside, just basically keeping it going. That's basically it. Now the last thing to plug in is the hard drive. Now to do the hard drive, you'll need one of these connectors on your power supply. It usually comes with these already. So this is a set of power connector. It corresponds to the same thing as the actual set of cable. It just corresponds to this big notch here. The little notch is for the actual set of cable, which is a set of data cable, that is, which are usually red, but so it's not a recommended install method. Do not do this if you actually, because my computer is a bit different and it's not a standard case. It didn't come with a hard drive cage. I am buying a separate piece that will relocate this hard drive to one of the 5 1/4 bays. So I will buy that, but just for now it's just going to be hanging loose. It's not a recommended method to do for hard drives for long term. For the first fire up, it's fine, but for long term, no. You need a better solution, or go with an SSD. SSDs don't need to be hard mounted. They can just flap around the crease, if I believe correctly. They can, because they're solid state. So that's pretty much it. We need to plug this in, and then we'll power it up for the first time, which I actually will show you first, because so it should be an easy thing. Actually, I won't plug the hard drive in first because I'm going to take everything actually post. So that's what post. I'm going to get a 3-pin cable, and then I'm just going to plug it in and see what happens, because this is where the rubber hits the road. 3, 2, 1, and it hasn't powered on, and it works. And it works. The first time you do this, you should see every fan start spinning. So let's have a look, shall we? Right, I can check cars fans spinning. They are. I can feel air coming off them. Heatsink fan spinning. I can feel air coming off them. And PSU fan spinning. All working fine. So this is how to build a computer. Well, my gaming build log. It's not really a guide for that. If you want to build a computer, you can use it as a guide to sort of figure out what you need to do and how to do it. I will release some more videos which you get into the nitty gritty of it, but this is just a quick overview of how to do it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.